September jobs report finally arrived this week after the longest government shutdown in history, and it revealed something the headlines won't tell you. While 119,000 jobs sounds decent, 2 out of the last 3 months actually posted job losses when you account for revisions. Meanwhile, the Fed released minutes showing they're divided on cutting rates in December, just as the most influential voice at the Federal Reserve said, a cut makes sense. So which signal should you trust? I'm Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. This week delivered the kind of market intelligence that separates the professionals who truly understand housing finance from those just chasing headlines. Let's break down what happened and what it means for your clients heading into the holiday season. The September job report finally arrives. After weeks of government shutdown delays, we finally got September's employment data on Thursday. The headline numbers showed 119,000 jobs added, beating the 50,000 consensus estimate. On the surface, that looks encouraging, but as always, we need to look beneath the numbers. Here's what really matters. The previous 2 months were revised downward by a combined 33,000 jobs. July dropped to 72,000, and August was revised into negative territory at minus 4,000. When you account for these revisions, we're looking at just 86,000 net jobs created across the 3-month period from July through September. The unemployment rate ticked up from 4.3% to 4.44%, just a whisker away from 4.5%. That's a 30% increase from the 3.4% rate we saw back in April of 2023. The labor force participation rate actually increased, which contradicts the narrative that unemployment is rising simply because fewer people are looking for work. Perhaps most telling, permanent job losers hit a cycle high of 2.023 million in September. To put that in perspective, that metric reached 2 million in December 2007, right at the start of the Great Recession. Continuing jobless claims also hit a fresh cycle high of 1.974 million in the week ended November 8th. Fed minutes revealed December uncertainty, while Wednesday's FOMC minutes from the October 29th meeting showed a Federal Reserve clearly divided on their next move. The minutes revealed that many officials preferred holding rates steady at the December 10th meeting, outnumbering the several who thought a rate cut, quote, could well be appropriate, unquote. In Fed speak, that word choice matters. Many typically means 8 to 9 voting members, while several usually indicates 5 to 6. That's why the probability of December rate cut dropped to around 35% following the release. However, Thursday morning brought a counterpoint when New York Fed President John Williams, arguably the most influential Fed voice aside from Chair Powell himself, stated he sees room for December cut. He acknowledged weakness in the labor market and noted that shelter costs, which have been overstating inflation, are finally coming down in the data. Williams' comments said the odds of a December cut jumping from 33% to 74% in a matter of hours. But here's the challenge. The BLS announced we won't get the October jobs report until December 16th, 6 days after the Fed's decision. Without that crucial data, it's hard to see how the committee moves forward with a cut, regardless of what the futures market is pricing in. The National Association of Realtors reported existing home sales for October rose 1.2% to an annualized pace of 4.1 million units. That's up 1.7% year over year, but we're still well below the 5 to 5.5 million range that would signal a normal market. These October closings primarily reflect contracts signed in August and early September, when rates were just starting to fall from their summer highs. The median home price edged up to $415,000, a 2.1% year-over-year increase. Inventory declined slightly to 1.52 million units, a 4.4-month supply. That seasonal decline happens every fall, so it's not particularly concerning. What matters more is that inventory remains 11% higher year-over-year, though still below pre-pandemic norms. First-time home buyers represented 32% of transactions, up from 27% a year ago. That's an encouraging trend, though the number can be volatile month to month. Rent data supports lower inflation ahead. One bright spot for the inflation watchers, Rental data continues to cool significantly. Single-family rents showed a month-over-month decline of 1.3% in September, according to Cotality's index, with year-over-year growth decelerating from 1.4% to 1%. Since shelter represents the largest component of CPI, this deceleration should eventually flow through to the official inflation numbers that gives cover to Fed doves like Williams, who want to prioritize the softening labor market over sticky inflation readings. What this means for your clients as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday and the final weeks of 2025, here's what professionals need to understand. Mortgage rates are holding in a tight range, with our team seeing the best qualified buyers still accessing rates in the mid 6% range on conventional 30-year fixed mortgages. The bond market has been remarkably stable despite all the economic crosscurrents. Strategy beats rate always. This is exactly the environment where families need guidance on household blended interest rates and cash flow impact, not just the rate on their mortgage. With credit card rates still elevated and many homeowners carrying multiple debts, there are real opportunities to help families improve their financial position. For your clients considering a move, the combination of moderating home price appreciation and stable inventory creates a more balanced negotiating environment than we've seen in years. And for those with adjustable rate mortgages or high rate debt from 2023 to 2024, the window for strategic refinancing conversations is opening up. Speaking of strategic refinancing, this week we're highlighting 3 educational pieces that can help you have more informed conversations with your clients. First is lower your payment, pay off faster, save thousands. Here's how the Strategic Refinance Program does all 3. This breaks down how refinancing isn't just about getting a lower rate, it's about repositioning debt strategically to improve household cash flow while accelerating wealth building. Second, home buyers lose $20,000 a year to hidden costs. Here's the budget math your lender won't show you, addresses one of the most common gaps in home buying process. Most lenders qualify buyers but don't help them understand the full picture of home ownership costs. This tool gives you a framework to have that conversation. And third, what would it mean to you if everything you believed about tax brackets was wrong? This tackles common misconceptions about tax strategy that can cost families tens of thousands of dollars over time. Understanding the difference between marginal and effective tax rates changes how we think about mortgage interest deductions and debt management. You can access all 3 of these resources through the link that we have attached to this video or this message. And they're designed to be shared with your clients to help educate them on the financial side of real estate decisions. Looking ahead, next week brings a shortened trading schedule with Thanksgiving on Thursday. Before the holiday, we'll see several important releases. Tuesday brings September producer prices, retail sales, and housing price data from Case-Shiller and FHFA. Wednesday delivers the updated GDP reading for Q3, personal income and spending data, and new sales for October. We'll also get the Fed's Beige Book on Wednesday afternoon, which will provide more anecdotal evidence about economic conditions heading into December's meeting. One more note, with the government back open, we're finally returning to a normal data flow. That should reduce some of the uncertainty that's been clouding market expectations. Before we wrap up, I want to mention our Key Steps platform, which offers comprehensive credit monitoring, identity theft protection, and budgeting tools that give families a complete view of their household finances. It's been an essential source for families serious about financial health. You can learn more at rsrlinks.com/keysteps. And for professionals looking to dive deeper into market dynamics and strategic refinancing approaches, visit ronsiegelradio.com, where we publish additional resources and analysis. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak to you again next week.